For thousands of years, a small desert hunter quietly reshaped human life. What drew these solitary wildcats toward our fires? And how did they turn from elusive predators into partners who conquered every corner of our world? Tonight, we follow their ancient footsteps. Settle into a comfortable position. Allow your breath to slow. Let the day drift away like a quiet tide moving through a darkened harbor. Tonight, we will explore a story that has unfolded across more than 10,000 years. A story woven through grain fields, stone temples, wooden ships, and the soft murmurs of sleeping villages. It is the story of how cats, with small paws and silent grace, came to live alongside us, shaping our societies and our imaginations in ways few other creatures have achieved. Most animals that traveled the long road of domestication follow a familiar pattern. They are herded, guided, and reshaped by human needs. But cats chose a different path. Their journey was not forced. It was not commanded. It was not molded by our plans. Instead, they observed us from the edges of ancient settlements. They watched our habits, our rhythms, and the patterns of the small animals that gathered around our stored food. Then, in their own time, they stepped closer. This script guides you through that remarkable journey. From the first encounters between wild desert cats and early farmers, to their sacred roles in ancient Egypt, to their voyages across oceans as guardians of ships, to the scientific discoveries that reveal why humans find their presence so calming. You will hear surprising facts, gentle explanations, and quiet scenes from the deep past, described in a slow and soothing cadence designed for rest. As you listen, allow each detail to drift through your mind like soft dust floating through warm sunlight. Let curiosity settle into comfort. Let knowledge slow into a peaceful rhythm. And before we begin, if you enjoy these sleepy science explorations, you may subscribe to this channel for more calming documentaries to fall asleep to. Your support helps create new bedtime journeys through time, space, and the natural world. Now, take one more deep breath. Feel your body soften. And let us begin the first chapter of this long story where the earliest humans and the earliest cats first crossed paths beneath the quiet desert sky. Imagine a wide desert evening more than 10,000 years ago. The horizon glows with the last slow embers of daylight. The air cools with each passing moment, and on the outskirts of a small human camp, something moves with deliberate softness. A wildcat, no larger than many modern house cats, pauses among dry grasses. Her fur carries the muted stripes of the African desert. Her ears tilt forward. Her whiskers sweep the air, measuring every sound. She is a hunter, built for silence and precision. Yet tonight, she is drawn toward something new. The humans have gathered scraps of grain in woven baskets. They have built small shelters of reeds, clay, and wooden poles. And wherever humans gather grain, mice soon follow. The wildcat knows this. For countless generations, her ancestors hunted rodents beneath moonlit dunes and cracked stone ridges. But now, as a new human invention called agriculture spreads across the Fertile Crescent, the landscape has changed. The mice no longer live only in scattered burrows. They now gather in warm, abundant clusters around human settlements. For a predator as efficient as a wildcat, this is an irresistible signal. Scientists studying this ancient period believe the first encounters between humans and wildcats were not dramatic or sudden. They were quiet, almost invisible moments. Moments like this one, when a wildcat approached a human dwelling not because she wanted companionship, but because she sensed opportunity. The soft rustle of grain sacks, the tiny heartbeats of mice scurrying beneath reed floors, the smells carried on the cooling air. All of it formed a trail of clues she could not ignore. The humans noticed, of course. They saw glowing eyes at the edges of their fires. They heard faint footsteps beyond the warmth of the village circle. At first, they likely felt caution. The wildcat was a solitary animal, unpredictable and fiercely independent. But the people also saw something else. They saw an animal that stalked their pests with remarkable skill. They saw a hunter whose presence made sleepless nights easier, grain stores safer, and life just a little more secure. This mutual awareness created the earliest bridge between the two species. It was not affection. It was not ownership. Instead, it was a subtle, practical alliance. The humans provided a new ecological niche, a stable home for rodents. The wildcats provided control of those rodents, reducing the loss of precious grain. No one planned this relationship. It simply emerged from the quiet logic of nature and necessity. Genetic studies of ancient cat remains offer surprising insights into this era. They show that early wildcats who ventured near human settlements began to differ from their purely wild cousins. Over many generations, the cats that tolerated humans had better access to food. They survived more consistently. Their offspring inherited slightly calmer temperaments, slightly bolder curiosity. These gradual shifts did not create a domesticated animal yet. Instead, they created a new behavioral pattern. A pattern in which cats lived near humans without truly belonging to them. Archaeologists have discovered that these early human communities were small, often fewer than a few dozen individuals. The structures they built covered only a few hundred square feet. Yet even within these modest surroundings, wildcats found what they needed. In the cool hours of dawn and dusk, they patrolled the edges of homes. They watched from shaded corners. They slipped along newly formed paths in the sand. Their presence became part of the soundscape of village life, even if their forms remained mostly unseen. It is important to imagine how these first people perceived the animals. Many early human cultures viewed predators with a mix of respect and caution. To see a wildcat nearby was to witness a creature that embodied precision, patience, and independence. The humans may have seen the animal as a guardian spirit of sorts, a silent protector of their grain. They may also have seen her as a reminder of the raw wilderness beyond their settlement. These early interactions formed the gentle foundation of domestication, not a process of taming, but a process of coexistence. The cats approached because humans altered the environment in a way that benefited them. Humans accepted them because the presence of cats improved their chances of survival. This reciprocal advantage gradually knit the two species together. Across centuries, the pattern repeated. Desert communities grew, grain storage improved, rodents multiplied, and with them, the cats thrived. Each generation grew slightly more comfortable around human activity. Each generation learned that staying close to human settlements offered a stable food supply. Yet even then, the cats maintained their independence. They chose when to interact. They chose where to rest, where to hunt, and how close to approach. Though the earliest scenes are lost to time, we can still imagine them with clarity. A quiet human child placing a handful of grain near a wall, a curious cat creeping closer, drawn by the flutter of a mouse hiding beneath a basket, a moment of eye contact shared in the fading light, neither species knowing how deeply their futures would intertwine. As night settles over those early desert farms, the cats continue their watch. They move like shadows between huts. Their tails flick gently. Their ears turn toward even the faintest sound. These first guardians of grain did not yet know they were stepping onto a path that would carry their descendants across continents and oceans. A path that would lead them into temples, on ships, into royal courts, and eventually into the quiet comfort of modern homes. The story continues. But for now, the wildcat settles into her nighttime patrol. The humans rest. The partnership, still unnamed and unspoken, has begun. Picture a quiet evening in one of the earliest farming villages. The sun has dipped below the western horizon, leaving a warm glow that lingers like the last pulse of daylight. People gather around small fires built from dried wood and brush. Their voices rise softly and fall again, blending into the gentle breeze that moves through the village. Cooking pots simmer. Children drift into sleep. And beyond the ring of firelight, unseen eyes observe everything. The wildcats watch from a distance measured not in yards but in trust. They do not yet walk openly among the people. But they have learned that the soft glow of human fires marks a reliable source of opportunity. Where fires burn, humans gather. Where humans gather, food is stored. And where food is stored, rodents appear in steady numbers. This simple ecological chain quietly linked human settlements with feline survival. To understand why wildcats moved closer to humans, imagine their original landscape. 10,000 years ago, the regions stretching across the Levant, Cyprus, and the Fertile Crescent were shaped by sweeping deserts, valleys of pale sand, and rugged hills carved by wind. wildcats survived by stalking small prey in this sparse terrain. A successful hunt required patience, silence, and long hours of movement under the moon. A missed hunt meant hunger, weakness, and vulnerability. Human agriculture changed this delicate balance. When the first farmers began storing harvested grain, often in clay-lined pits or simple reed structures, something notable happened. Rodents discovered these stores and flourished. Their populations grew quickly. And for a hunter designed to sense the faintest scurry, this was a transformation of the environment itself. A landscape once unpredictable suddenly offered consistent prey in concentrated spaces. This shift is known by scientists as a niche opportunity. Humans unknowingly created a new pocket of resources, and wildcats, being adaptable predators, stepped into that niche. It was not affection that drew them. It was not a desire for companionship. It was an evolutionary calculation, carried out by instinct and rewarded by survival. But even practical changes hold quiet beauty when viewed through the eyes of someone ready to rest. Imagine a wildcat on a cool night, crouched low to the ground, her body measuring each vibration in the earth. She senses the heartbeat of a mouse beneath a clay pot. She hears the rustle of reeds tied together to form a granary wall. She waits. A single moment of stillness, followed by a swift pounce, seals another small success. This is how the relationship began, one quiet hunt at a time. The humans noticed. A reduction in rodents meant less loss of food, less danger of spoiled grain, less work required to guard their stores. They may not have welcomed the cats at first, but they tolerated them. And tolerance is one of the earliest steps toward domestication. Archaeological evidence from early farming sites reveals subtle patterns. Wildcat bones appear near human refuse pits. Paw prints press into ancient clay fragments. These traces suggest that the animals ventured close enough to explore what humans left behind. Yet the cats remained cautious. They approached at dusk. They fed on scraps or hunted rodents in the shadows. They avoided direct interaction, maintaining the dignified independence that still shapes feline behavior today. The fires themselves played an important role. When humans gathered at night, they created an oasis of warmth in an otherwise chilly landscape. The glow of burning wood could be seen from many yards away, and the scent of smoke traveled even farther. Both signaled safety. A fire meant that large predators, wolves, hyenas, and other threats kept their distance. A clever wildcat recognized that staying near humans could offer refuge from these dangers. This subtle sense of protection encouraged bolder exploration. A cat might sit just beyond the ring of firelight, where her coat blended with the darkness. Her tail curled around her paws. Her eyes reflected the soft flicker of flames. She listened to the rise and fall of human voices, not understanding the meaning, but understanding the rhythm. In time, some humans may have left small offerings without fully realizing they were doing so. Perhaps a scrap of fish near a cooking area. Perhaps a piece of grain-infused dough. Or perhaps they simply allowed the cats to remain nearby instead of chasing them away. These small accommodations shaped the first emotional threads linking the two species. Scientific studies highlight a fascinating truth. Early domestication of cats involved minimal physical change. Unlike dogs, who experienced profound transformations in body shape and behavior, cats remained remarkably similar to their wild ancestors. This tells us the relationship was never built on control. It was built on coexistence. The cats that survived best were those that stayed calm near humans but retained their hunting instincts. The humans who benefited most were those who allowed these skilled hunters to do what they did naturally. Each generation of wildcats learned something new about human settlements. They learned that the sound of grinding stones often preceded food preparation. They learned that sudden human movements required caution. They learned that children were unpredictable. They learned that the softest places to sleep were often piles of hay near human structures, which retained warmth long after the fires burned low. And as the cats learned, so did the humans. They learned that a cat's presence signaled fewer pests. They learned that watching a cat move through the village felt calming in a way they might not have understood. A cat's slow steps, soft fur, and measured balance created a natural sense of peace. Even today, many people feel their breathing slow when a cat curls beside them. This quiet, instinctive connection stretches all the way back to these early nights beside ancient fires. With every passing season, the distance between the two species narrowed. Still, no one would have called this domestication yet. The cats remained free. They came and went as they pleased. Their decisions were their own. But the foundations of a shared future were forming, a future that would carry them into new lands, new cultures, and new roles in an ever-changing human world. The wildcats linger at the edges of the firelight now. Close enough to sense safety, close enough to benefit from human presence, yet far enough to preserve their independence. Their golden eyes blink slowly as the last sparks rise into the night air. The first steps toward partnership have been taken. And soon, their descendants will follow those steps into the dawn of a new era. As the first farming villages grew, a quiet transformation unfolded at their edges. The wildcats who had once approached cautiously began to linger more often. Their presence, once fleeting, became familiar. They moved among the shadows of granary walls. They followed the faint trails left by rodents weaving through stored harvests. With each generation, their steps brought them closer to the rhythms of human life. Domestication, when described in textbooks, often sounds like a clear event. A moment when humans decide to reshape an animal, or when an animal becomes permanently altered by human influence. But the truth is softer, slower, and far more intricate. For cats, domestication did not begin with confinement or intentional breeding. It began with tolerance. Then, curiosity. then mutual benefit so strong that neither species wished to turn away. Imagine an early settlement where simple homes of clay and reeds cluster around a central courtyard. Beyond the structures lies open desert, stretching in muted tones of sand and stone. Within the village, people grind grain on smooth stones. They carry baskets woven from reeds. They prepare food in shallow clay bowls. And nearby, a sleek wildcat watches from beneath a shaded wall. She is alert but calm, sensing no immediate danger. Over many years, such moments multiplied. Cats that tolerated the presence of humans tended to thrive. They had more consistent access to rodents. They grew accustomed to the noise of daily activity. They found shelter near human dwellings, particularly during storms or cold desert nights when temperatures dipped below comfortable levels. Females who raised their kittens near humans often provided them with safer conditions than those who nested far out in the wilderness. This meant more kittens survived, passing along temperaments that were slightly more adaptable, slightly less fearful. This slow shaping of behavior formed the earliest phase of domestication. It was not forced. It was not planned. It was a natural experiment carried out by generations of cats, learning what patterns of life supported them best. As human villages expanded, so did opportunities for cats. Some early agricultural communities encompassed only a few hundred square feet. Others spread across larger areas as farming techniques improved. With more people came more grain, more scraps, more rodents, and more sheltered corners for cats to claim. These expanding environments created subtle pressures that encouraged cats to remain close. One remarkable discovery from this period comes from the island of Cyprus. Archaeologists found the carefully buried remains of a human and a cat placed side by side. The burial dates back roughly 9,500 years. While this does not prove emotional companionship, it does show a meaningful connection. Cats were valuable enough to be buried with intention and care. This suggests that humans recognized their significance beyond simple rodent control. The remains of the cat from Cyprus show features consistent with the African wildcat, the species from which all modern domestic cats descend. Its bones do not show signs of captivity. There is no evidence of forced breeding. Instead, the cat appears to have lived a natural life, moving freely but closely alongside human activity. Such a burial marks an early acknowledgement of the bond taking shape. Over centuries, humans developed more complex social structures. Villages grew into towns. Food production increased. Storage techniques improved, with granaries built from thicker walls and more carefully sealed doors. Yet, no matter how sophisticated the structures became, rodents found ways to infiltrate them. And cats followed. Genetic research shows that domestic cats today share strikingly strong similarities with their ancient ancestors. Their bodies changed only slightly over thousands of years. Their ears, tails, bones, and muscles remain nearly identical in shape. the most significant changes appear in their behavior, particularly their tolerance for close human interaction. Cats today can curl on a lap, sleep on a couch, or rest in a sunny window without fear. These calm behaviors emerged only after many generations of selective survival around human environments. One of the earliest signs of true domestication comes from subtle coat changes. Wildcats typically display muted stripes and sandy tones, ideal for blending into their desert habitats. But as cats lived closer to humans, unique color variations became more common. A lighter coat, a darker patch, a blotch or swirl that would be disadvantageous in the wild, but harmless within a village. These variations increased as cats that lived near humans faced fewer natural predators and more stable living conditions. Ancient art provides another clue. Early illustrations carved into stone or painted on pottery begin to show cats in recognizable forms. Their bodies appear graceful. Their tails curve delicately. They stand beside humans or near baskets of grain. These depictions show that cats had become familiar figures in everyday life, even if not yet fully domesticated in the modern sense. As millennia passed, the relationship deepened. Cats learned that certain human signals were predictable. The clatter of grain being poured into a storage pit often attracted rodents. Cats listened for it. The sound of humans returning from fields signaled a period of calm when people rested and food scraps became available. Cats recognized these rhythms and timed their movements accordingly. Humans, in turn, adapted to the presence of cats. They learned that cats were most active during twilight, aligning their hunting with the movements of rodents. They learned that cats preferred warm, protected places to rest, often seeking out piles of straw or corners shielded from wind. They may have even developed early forms of communication, such as soft clicks or gentle calls, to alert cats without frightening them away. These delicate exchanges marked the gradual transition into domestication, not as a sudden change, but as a tapestry woven across generations. The threads included ecological shifts, behavioral adaptations, and growing familiarity. By the time ancient peoples moved into more permanent settlements with stone buildings and larger networks of trade, cats had already established themselves as essential companions, still independent, still capable hunters, but undeniably tied to human life. As the ancient world began to develop recognizable cultures, cats found new roles waiting for them. Some would soon become symbols of protection. Others would be welcomed as sacred animals. And many more would continue their quiet work as guardians of grain, keeping communities stable and lives nourished. The dawn of domestication was ending. A new chapter was beginning. A chapter where cats would no longer be simple visitors to human spaces. They would become partners, symbols, and travelers on a journey that spanned continents. Their paws were already set upon the path. The world was ready to change with them. Imagine an early morning in a growing farming village. The sun is still low, casting long shadows across fields of young grain. The air carries the scent of dry grass and warm earth. Farmers walk slowly between rows of barley and wheat. Their tools, shaped from wood and stone, leave soft grooves in the soil. This is the world that transformed human life, and it is also the world that transformed cats. Agriculture began as a humble experiment. Humans learned to gather seeds, store them, and plant them again. The earliest fields covered only a few small patches of land, each perhaps a few dozen yards across. But as people recognized the stability that crops could bring, they expanded their efforts. Villages grew larger, harvests increased, and grain began to accumulate in quantities significant enough to support entire communities. Where grain accumulated, rodents followed in astonishing numbers. Mice and rats could enter storage pits through cracks as narrow as a single finger's width. They could gnaw through woven baskets, climb reed walls, and slip beneath clay door thresholds. A single rodent could consume a noticeable share of a family's food. A group of rodents could threaten the survival of an entire settlement. Ancient granaries, sometimes no larger than a few hundred square feet, became battlegrounds in the quiet, relentless struggle between farmers and pests. Rodents moved in quickly, they multiplied rapidly, and they thrived on the abundance that humans unintentionally provided. Into this landscape stepped the wildcats. Their presence reshaped the balance almost overnight. A single cat could patrol a granary with striking efficiency. Her movements were controlled, her senses sharp. She listened for the faint click of tiny feet. She watched for the slightest shift in shadows. Her patience became one of the most valuable tools in early human society. For farmers, the benefits were immediate and profound. Grain losses decreased. Stored harvests remained cleaner and safer for longer periods. Communities that struggled to survive from season to season found new stability when cats became part of their environment. Without written records, we can only infer what people thought of this sudden improvement. But archaeological evidence suggests that they quickly recognized the value of their new feline neighbors. Clay granary floors from ancient settlements sometimes reveal small paw impressions pressed into drying mud. These prints appear in places where cats would have needed to hunt or patrol. Their presence suggests not only that cats entered these structures, but that humans allowed them to do so. In many cases, the cats may have been welcome protectors. Guardians who required no instruction, no training, and no reward beyond the steady availability of prey. What made cats so effective in this role? Their bodies were perfectly designed for the task. A cat's whiskers detect subtle shifts in air currents, helping her navigate tight spaces in darkness. Her paws cushion her steps, allowing nearly silent movement across clay floors and straw piles. Her eyes capture light with exceptional sensitivity, making dusk and dawn the busiest times for rodent activity. Ideal hunting periods. And, perhaps most importantly, her instincts drive her to pursue even the faintest sign of movement. This natural proficiency turned cats into living pest control systems long before such a concept existed in human thought. Farmers did not need to train them. They simply needed to tolerate them. The cats, in turn, received regular access to prey, dry spaces to rest, and protection from larger predators who avoided human settlements. Over time, this partnership deepened. Cats began to sleep near granaries, then near homes, and eventually within quiet corners of human dwellings. Farmers may have placed scraps outside intentionally, recognizing that well-fed cats remained nearby and continued to hunt effectively. The animals that returned night after night grew more comfortable with human presence. They passed this calmness to their young, who grew up watching humans as part of their everyday landscape. As domestication advanced, a subtle shift occurred. Cats were no longer simply hunters. They became symbols of order in an environment shaped by agriculture. Where a cat sat, rodents hesitated. Where a cat walked, grain remained safe. Her presence represented the stability that early farmers desperately needed. This role became so central to human life that it began to influence culture. In some regions, cats appeared in early artwork beside baskets of grain, suggesting a direct association between the animals and the protection of stored food. In others, small figurines resembling cats were placed near granaries, as if acknowledging their guardianship. Though the meanings remain partially lost to time, the pattern is clear. Humans recognize that cats played a vital role in sustaining daily life. The reliability of this partnership also helped agriculture spread. As farming communities moved into new areas, cats followed. Some traveled naturally, expanding their range as people created new sources of food and shelter. Others may have been intentionally carried by early traders who knew the value of having a skilled rodent hunter at their side. In either case, cats dispersed alongside the expansion of grain-based societies. This dispersal marks one of the earliest stages of global feline migration. Long before cats boarded ships or appeared in royal courts, they were already moving from village to village, guided by the quiet logic of agricultural life. Wherever humans settled and stored grain, cats arrived. Wherever cats arrived, human settlements thrived. It is remarkable to imagine how many lives were shaped by this simple yet powerful dynamic. A single cat patrolling a granary might preserve enough grain to support a family through a difficult winter. A small group of cats protecting a village might safeguard the harvest that sustained an entire community. In a world where survival relied heavily on every portion of stored food, these contributions were monumental. As night falls again on an ancient village, the connection becomes clear. Fires glow softly. Families gather around meals prepared from carefully guarded grain. And just beyond the outer walls of the granary, a cat sits silently, her tail curled neatly around her paws. She listens. She waits. She protects. In these simple moments, the bond between humans and cats grows stronger. Their partnership, still unspoken and voluntary, becomes one of the quiet pillars of early civilization. From this foundation, cats will step into new lands, new stories, and new roles that will carry them across continents and into the heart of human culture. The first steps of feline migration were small and quiet. A wildcat followed the edges of a human path. A curious young cat explored beyond the boundary of her birthplace. A family of farmers moved to a new plot of land, and a cat, sensing opportunity, followed at a careful distance. Through thousands of these subtle moments, a single species expanded its presence across entire continents. Cats did not spread because humans carried them as pets at first. They spread because human settlements created reliable ecological corridors. Each new village, no matter how small, offered food, shelter, and a familiar pattern of life. For a species that values independence, these corridors allowed movement that felt both safe and rewarding. Imagine the earliest roads stretching through the Fertile Crescent. Some were no more than narrow trails, smoothed by repeated footsteps and the wooden wheels of early carts. These paths linked small settlements separated by only a few miles. Along them lay scattered piles of grain, scraps of food, and traces of human activity. Rodents traveled these routes eagerly. Cats followed in quiet pursuit. Archaeologists studying ancient trade networks believe this pattern played a significant role in the spread of cats. As people carried grain from one village to another, stowaway rodents hid inside baskets or clung to bundles of straw. A single basket of grain might bring mice into a new environment within hours. Where rodents arrived, cats soon appeared. Over generations, the steady flow of movement carried feline populations outward from their original home ranges. Some of the earliest long-distance feline travelers moved from the Levant into Anatolia and southeastern Europe. These regions were covered in varied landscapes, rolling hills, dense clusters of trees, and fertile valleys shaped by seasonal rivers. Human agriculture was expanding rapidly, and with it came more opportunities for cats to explore. Cats adapted with remarkable ease. They adjusted to new climates, new prey species, and new patterns of human life. A cat that once hunted in warm desert air might later stalk rodents along cool stone walls or beneath wooden floors. Their size, agility, and independence made them capable of thriving in almost any environment humans settled. One of the most fascinating discoveries showing this spread comes from ancient DNA analysis. Genetic signatures from early domestic cats appear in archaeological sites far beyond their original homeland. These signatures become more widespread over time, tracing a pattern that matches human migration routes almost exactly. Wherever humans traveled, cats eventually followed. not because they were forced, but because the ecological opportunities humans created remained consistent across distance. In many regions, cats likely moved without direct human assistance. But some early communities recognized the value of traveling with a skilled mouser. A trader setting off with a cart of grain might welcome a cat perched on the edge of a woven basket. A farmer relocating his household might allow a cat to follow, knowing she would help protect supplies in the new home. Such incidental companionship became one of the earliest forms of purposeful feline transport. As cats appeared in new lands, cultures began to take notice. In Cyprus, as seen earlier, humans valued cats enough to bury them with care. In Anatolia, small carvings show animals with feline features, suggesting the beginning of symbolic recognition. And in southeastern Europe, the presence of cats in early settlements suggests that their usefulness was universally acknowledged. By the time agriculture spread into the Balkans and beyond, the movement of cats had become a quiet but persistent wave. This wave continued for thousands of years, steady as the breath of a sleeping village. Imagine one of these early journeys. A farming family travels across rolling hills, seeking richer soil. They lead goats along the path and carry baskets filled with seeds. At dusk, they stop to rest beside a cluster of trees. As they prepare a simple meal, a small striped cat emerges from the tall grass. She is not theirs in the way modern people understand ownership, but she knows the scent of their grain. She knows the sound of foraging rodents that follow caravans. And she settles into the shadows near their fire, just as her ancestors did. In the morning, when the family gathers their belongings and continues onward, the cat follows at a distance, not because she must, but because she chooses to. Because the path ahead promises the same opportunities the path behind once held. Some cats traveled by land. Others eventually traveled by river. Ancient boats carved from large logs or assembled from bundles of reeds floated along waterways that connected distant communities. These boats often carried grain, dried fruit, and other food that attracted rodents. A cat finding her way onto such a vessel might experience her first journey across flowing water. Her presence would have been welcomed by the crew, who knew that rodents could chew through ropes, damage food stores, or contaminate supplies. This pattern set the stage for something extraordinary. Cats would one day become travelers on ships that crossed seas and oceans. But even before that era, the seeds of maritime feline life were planted along these ancient rivers. The spread of cats also influenced local ecosystems. Rodent populations shifted. Small birds adjusted their behavior. Yet, because cats primarily targeted rodents thriving due to human settlements, their ecological role often stabilized rather than disrupted early environments. They served as regulators, keeping the delicate balance between human activity and local wildlife from tipping too far. Culturally, their presence began to shape stories. Some communities saw cats as protectors. Others viewed them as mysterious observers who moved between human life and wilderness with unusual ease. In both perspectives, cats gained a reputation that elevated them above simple pest control. They became symbols of quiet guardianship, intelligence, and independence. As centuries passed, their migration continued westward and southward, into the dense forests of Europe, across the islands of the eastern Mediterranean, through trade networks leading toward North Africa. Their paws left faint impressions on soils of every texture: sand, clay, loam, and grass. The expansion of cats was not quick. It was a slow, steady ripple extending outward from the earliest farms. A ripple guided by survival, opportunity, and the changing world humans were building. By the time great civilizations began to rise, Egypt, Mesopotamia, and the early cities along the Mediterranean coast, cats had already carved out a secure place in human society. They were travelers, settlers, and silent partners in the story of agriculture. Their journey across continents was only beginning. Ahead lay temples, ships, ceremonies, silk routes, kingdoms, and myths that would elevate the cat from simple hunter to cultural icon. As the ancient world shifted and civilizations began to rise, few places embraced the presence of cats as deeply and as beautifully as Egypt. Here, along the slow, dependable flow of the Nile, humans shaped a society built on order, agriculture, ceremony, and reverence for the natural world. And within this landscape, cats became more than hunters. They became symbols of harmony, guardians of the household, and companions honored in ways unmatched by any earlier culture. Imagine the banks of the Nile at dawn. The river glimmers with soft light as warm colors spread across the sky. Fields stretch outward from its edge, watered by annual floods that leave the soil rich and dark. Villagers prepare for a day of work. Priests light incense inside temples. And cats move quietly among them, weaving through morning rituals with the same calm confidence that carried their ancestors through desert villages thousands of years before. Egyptians observed the habits of cats closely. They saw their precision in hunting, their ability to protect grain stores, and their calm presence in the home. Over time, these qualities took on symbolic meaning. Cats were associated with protection, renewal, fertility, and the gentle warmth of the sun. Their lithe bodies and graceful movements inspired artists. Their alertness inspired priests. Their ability to appear both serene and powerful resonated deeply with the Egyptian worldview. One of the earliest feline deities connected to this shift was Bastet, a goddess who embodied domestic harmony, joy, and the protective warmth of motherhood. She was often depicted as a woman with the head of a cat, or, in earlier periods, as a lioness. Her temples became places where people left offerings not only for spiritual blessings, but also as tribute to the cats who served as her earthly symbols. In towns dedicated to Bastet, cats lived in great numbers. They roamed freely along stone streets and within temple courtyards. priests fed them and cared for them, believing their well-being pleased the goddess. Visitors to these temples often left small statues or carved wooden figures shaped like cats. Some were highly detailed, capturing the curve of a tail or the delicate angle of whiskers. Others were simple tokens of gratitude or devotion. Evidence from ancient Egyptian homes reveals how important cats had become. Paintings inside tombs show families sitting together with a cat curled beneath a chair or resting at their feet. These scenes were not symbolic alone. They depicted everyday life. Cats provided comfort, controlled pests, and played a role in maintaining stability within the household. Their presence became part of the ideal vision of domestic peace that Egyptians valued so strongly. Cats were also appreciated for their ability to strike a balance between independence and affection. A cat might lounge beside a family one moment, then leap into the courtyard to hunt the next. This dual nature mirrored the Egyptian understanding of life's rhythms, cycles of rest and activity, of light and shadow, of order and unpredictability. As their cultural importance grew, so did the care Egyptians extended to them. Scribes recorded laws protecting cats. Harming a cat, even accidentally, carried serious penalties. This reflects not only reverence, but also recognition of cats' essential role in protecting grain, controlling disease-carrying rodents, and maintaining household health. Archaeologists have uncovered large cat cemeteries near temples dedicated to Bastet and other deities. These burial grounds contain the remains of thousands of cats, each interred with care. Many were wrapped in linen, the same material used for human mummification. Some were placed inside carved wooden coffins. Others were adorned with painted designs or small amulets meant to guide them safely into the afterlife. The practice of cat mummification shows how deeply Egyptians valued these animals. They believed a cat's spirit continued beyond death, just like that of a human. Honoring a cat in this way ensured peace in the next world and blessings in this one. Families sometimes buried their own beloved cats in small household plots, keeping the connection close even after the animal's life had ended. Cats also helped protect Egyptians from creatures that posed danger along the Nile. Snakes, including venomous species that hid among reeds or near storage areas, were frequent threats. A skilled cat could kill or deter these animals, making the home safer. This protective ability elevated cats further in the eyes of the Egyptians, who connected them with divine guardianship. Even within royal circles, cats played important roles. Pharaohs valued their presence not only as protectors, but as symbols of grace and power. Some royal cats were adorned with jewelry made from precious metals. Others were depicted in wall carvings beside hunting parties or ceremonial scenes, a sign that their status reached the highest levels of society. Cats traveled with Egyptian traders as well. Small riverboats carried them between cities along the Nile. Larger ships that ventured across the Mediterranean welcomed cats to keep rodents from damaging goods like grain, cloth, and papyrus. These early maritime journeys further spread cats into distant regions, establishing populations that would later flourish across the Mediterranean world. One of the most touching aspects of Egypt's relationship with cats is the emotional connection evident in their artwork. Artists captured not only the physical form of cats, but also their personality. Some paintings show cats grooming themselves in quiet moments. Others show cats playfully swatting at birds or sitting attentively beside their human companions. These small, intimate depictions remind us that the bond between humans and cats, even thousands of years ago, went beyond practicality. It reached into the realm of affection, companionship, and shared daily life. As night settles over ancient Egypt, the image becomes clear. The glow of oil lamps fills the rooms of a modest home. A clay bowl rests near the wall. A cat curls on a woven mat, her body rising and falling with each slow breath. The family nearby feels protected, comforted, and connected to forces greater than themselves. Outside, in the courtyard of a temple dedicated to Bastet, priests lay fresh offerings at the feet of feline statues. Cats wander between pillars of stone, their movements soft and unhurried. To the Egyptians, they are earthly reflections of divine presence. The role of cats in Egypt marks a turning point in their long journey. From wild hunters to guardians of grain to sacred companions, their significance grew with every passing century. Ahead lay new cultures, new meanings, and new challenges. But their legacy in Egypt remains one of the most enduring examples of how deeply humans can bond with an animal who remains, even in closeness, wonderfully independent. When the influence of Egypt began to spread outward across the ancient world, the cat traveled with it, carried not by force but by quiet necessity and natural movement. As trade routes grew more complex and cultures intertwined, cats entered new lands where their roles, meanings, and reputations transformed yet again. From the marble courtyards of Greece to the bustling marketplaces of Rome, and along the winding paths of the early silk routes, cats learned to survive in worlds far different from the desert landscapes of their ancestors. Imagine the coastlines of ancient Greece. The sea stretches wide, shimmering in soft morning light. Stone homes sit close together on narrow streets, and fishing boats sway gently along wooden docks. Here, cats walk with silent steps, weaving between baskets of fish and settling on sun-warmed stones. Their presence feels natural, as though the land always expected them. The Greeks admired animals with grace, intelligence, and balance. Cats, with their measured movements and calm elegance, fit into this admiration with quiet ease. Yet they did not occupy the same sacred role that they held in Egypt. Instead, they were appreciated as capable hunters and as creatures whose independence mirrored the Greek respect for self-discipline and subtle strength. Some Greek writers described cats indirectly, noting their ability to control pests in homes, barns, and ships. Others compared their agility to that of dancers or athletes, marveling at the way a cat could leap several feet in a single bound or land softly from a height that would injure many other animals. Though cats were not woven deeply into Greek mythology, they were welcomed into Greek daily life, and their numbers slowly increased around coastal towns and inland farms. From Greece, cats found their way into the heart of the Roman world. Rome, with its vast territory and intricate networks of trade, became a crucial center for the spread of cats across Europe and beyond. By the time Rome began to expand, cats were well established in Mediterranean cities, moving easily through streets crowded with merchants, travelers, and soldiers. Roman granaries were significantly larger than those of earlier cultures. Some storage buildings stretched more than several hundred square feet across and rose multiple levels high, built from stone and designed to supply soldiers and citizens throughout the empire. These vast stores attracted rodents in overwhelming numbers, creating a perfect opportunity for cats to thrive. Romans quickly recognized the value of feline assistance. They welcomed cats into granaries, barns, and even military outposts. Cats became guardians of food reserves that sustained legions traveling thousands of miles across Roman territory. Their presence helped protect grain, cured meats, and other essential provisions. Without cats, shortages would have been far more common during long campaigns. In Roman homes, cats occupied a space that blended practicality with companionship. Some families kept them for their hunting skills. Others simply appreciated their calm demeanor, their quiet grooming, and their gentle presence during long evenings. Artists began to depict cats more frequently in mosaics and frescoes, showing them curled beside baskets or sitting in windows, watching the world pass by. The Roman poet Ovid mentioned cats in his writings, noting their attentiveness and independence. Even though dogs were more prominent in Roman society, cats earned a place of respect. They were not forced into servitude or trained for tasks beyond their nature. Instead, Romans adopted the same approach earlier cultures had taken: provide space, allow freedom, and benefit quietly from their natural abilities. As Roman trade routes stretched across Europe, North Africa, and parts of Western Asia, cats traveled along with goods, spices, cloth, and stories. Ships leaving Roman ports often carried cats to prevent rodents from damaging cargo. When these ships docked in distant lands, some cats stayed behind, moving into new communities and establishing populations that would grow for centuries. It was through these maritime journeys that cats reached regions tied to the early Silk routes, connecting the Mediterranean to vast territories farther east. These routes were not a single road, but a wide network of paths, rivers, and trade centers stretching thousands of miles across deserts, mountains, and plains. Caravans carried textiles, precious metals, spices, and cultural knowledge from one civilization to another. Cats followed along the edges of these networks, drawn by caravans stocked with grain and food supplies. Imagine a caravan moving slowly across a dusty plain. Dozens of animals carry heavy loads. Traders walk beside them, shielding their faces from the sun. Among the cargo rest sacks of grain tied with ropes, bundles of dried fruit, and baskets of goods wrapped for distant markets. Rodents hide within these supplies, and cats, perched atop the cargo or walking beside the caravan, keep watch with quiet attention. Some cats remained with traders for months, traveling through unfamiliar landscapes. Others found new homes in caravanserai, large, fortified inns built to house merchants and animals along the silk routes. These inns often covered several thousand square feet and included inner courtyards where travelers rested. Cats thrived in these courtyards, reducing rodent populations and earning the appreciation of weary merchants who depended on preserved food to survive long journeys. As cats dispersed into new lands, their image shifted once again. In some places, they were seen as mysterious wanderers, capable of moving between human civilization and the untamed world beyond it. In others, they gained reputations as protectors of trade goods, quietly ensuring that merchants could travel safely without fear of spoiled supplies. In many regions, they simply became part of everyday life, familiar figures who walked along rooftops, explored narrow streets, and curled beside cooking fires at night. This era of movement also shaped the diversity of cats we see today. As populations traveled and mingled, traits from different regions blended naturally. Coats varied in color and pattern. Temperaments shifted based on local needs and environments. The cat, once confined to a small desert range, now occupied forests, mountains, coastal towns, and agricultural plains across continents. By the time the Roman Empire reached its height, cats had become one of the most widespread animals associated with human society. Their silence, independence, and adaptability had carried them farther than even the most powerful empires could reach. As evening settles in the ancient world, imagine a cat perched on a stone wall overlooking a busy Roman street. Merchants pack their stalls. Children chase one another near the fountain. A baker closes his shop, the smell of warm bread drifting into the cooling air. The cat watches everything with that familiar calm, her tail flicking slowly. She is part of this world now. Part of Greece, part of Rome, part of the great trade routes that span continents. Her ancestors once prowled quiet desert farms. Her descendants will cross oceans, survive plagues, and find places in modern homes. For now, she simply watches as the last light fades. As the ancient world faded and the Middle Ages unfolded across Europe, the cat entered a period of profound misunderstanding. For thousands of years, cats had been valued as hunters, protectors, and companions. But in medieval Europe, shaped by shifting beliefs, superstition, and fear. Their role was challenged in ways that nearly changed the course of history. Imagine a small European village at dusk. Timber-framed houses line narrow dirt streets. Chimneys release faint trails of smoke that drift into a gray sky. Children play beside wooden fences as farmers return from fields with baskets of vegetables and bundles of straw. In this setting, cats walk quietly along stone walls, their paws leaving only the faintest impressions in the cool earth. For many families, a cat's presence remained comforting. Cats kept rodents away from winter stores. They protected homes from mice that could chew through wool clothing, wooden tools, and dried food. They curled near hearths during cold nights, offering warmth and companionship. Life in medieval Europe was difficult, and any animal that helped secure food and reduce illness carried natural value. Yet the cultural climate had changed. Ideas carried by traveling scholars, religious leaders, and shifting folklore reshaped how people perceived the natural world. Animals with behaviors that seemed mysterious or independent often became subjects of suspicion. The cat, especially the cat that roamed freely at night, fell under this shadow. Some religious writings of the period portrayed cats, particularly black-coated cats, as creatures linked to misfortune. Their nocturnal habits, silent steps, and reflective eyes seemed unnatural to people unfamiliar with the biology behind such traits. Stories grew, whispered from village to village, connecting cats with witchcraft, spirits, or ill omens. In some regions, this fear intensified to the point where cats were shunned, driven away, or even killed during periods of heightened paranoia. It is important to understand that such beliefs did not define all of Europe. Many communities still valued cats and protected them. But in areas where superstition spread most strongly, the cat's role as a guardian of grain and health was diminished. This shift created consequences far deeper than most people of the time could have imagined. As the Middle Ages progressed, Europe faced one of the most devastating pandemics in its history: the plague. The disease, carried by fleas that lived on rodents, moved swiftly along trade routes and through crowded cities. It arrived in ports and spread inland, following merchants, travelers, and refugees. Within a few short years, millions of people across Europe perished. In many regions, declining cat populations contributed to the severity of the outbreak. Without cats to keep rodent numbers in check, black rats multiplied rapidly. These rats thrived in wooden houses, barns, grain stores, and city streets. Fleas that carried plague bacteria moved easily from rats to humans. The disease took hold wherever rodents flourished. Though medieval people did not understand the biological causes of the plague, some communities began to notice patterns. Villages with more cats often suffered fewer outbreaks. Cities where cats remained common sometimes saw slower spread. These observations were subtle but significant. They hinted at the essential ecological role cats had always played, maintaining balance in environments shaped by human life. Even though some areas distrusted cats, others began to welcome them anew. Monasteries, in particular, recognized the value of cats in protecting written manuscripts stored in wooden chests. Rodents could destroy pages of carefully copied texts, gnawing through parchment and leather bindings. A single cat patrolling a scriptorium could preserve years of labor. As monks recorded their observations about daily life, small notes appeared describing the behavior of cats, their usefulness, and their quiet companionship in otherwise solemn spaces. One famous manuscript from the period includes a monk's playful complaint about a cat who walked across his wet ink, leaving paw prints along the margin of a page. Such moments show that even amid superstition, real affection persisted. As trade expanded across the continent, the cat's reputation slowly recovered. Merchants relied on cats aboard ships to protect goods from rodents. Travelers valued them as camp guardians. Farmers recognized that without cats, grain losses could reach disastrous levels. Bit by bit, the practical truths reasserted themselves. Imagine a European port city late in the Middle Ages. Wooden ships creak gently in the harbor. Merchants unload crates of wool, barrels of dried fish, and sacks of grain. As ropes are untied and anchors lifted, cats pace across the decks with calm purpose. Their presence reassures sailors who have seen firsthand how quickly rodents can overrun a ship. A single cat could prevent holes in sails, protect food stores, and reduce the risk of disease. By this time, cats were again traveling between regions. Some accompanied traders heading deep into the interior of Europe. Others lived in bustling markets where food stalls and storage bins provided abundant prey. Their adaptability allowed them to thrive in environments as varied as mountain villages, river towns, and growing medieval cities. As Europe entered the late medieval and early Renaissance periods, perspectives toward cats shifted once more. Scholars began to study natural history. Artists painted domestic scenes showing cats curled beside fireplaces or playfully chasing insects. The fear that had shadowed them for generations began to fade. In its place grew new appreciation, shaped by both necessity and cultural change. One of the most enduring aspects of medieval cat life was their association with home protection. Even in areas where superstition lingered, many families considered it good fortune to have a cat sleeping near the hearth. A cat's calm breathing, slow blinking, and rhythmic grooming offered subtle comfort in a time filled with uncertainty and hardship. As night falls on a medieval village, picture a small home lit by a single candle. A cat curls atop a pile of straw near the door. The family settles into sleep, trusting the silent guardian who watches the night. Outside, the wind moves across wooden rooftops. Rodents scurry in dark alleys, but inside, the presence of the cat offers peace. This era of misunderstanding and rediscovery shaped the resilience of feline survival in Europe. Cats endured fear, superstition, and societal change yet continued to protect homes, farms, and ships. Their independence allowed them to adapt without relying on human approval. Their usefulness ensured that they never disappeared completely, even when mistrust threatened their place. By the end of the medieval period, cats were poised to play an even greater role in the age of exploration. Ahead lay open seas, vast distances, and new worlds waiting for their silent companionship. As Europe stepped into the age of exploration, the world widened in ways no earlier generation could have imagined. Wooden ships, some stretching more than 100 feet from bow to stern, set out across unfamiliar waters. Sailors followed coastal winds, open sea currents, and star-filled skies toward new lands and distant horizons. And as they traveled, the quiet, steady presence of cats accompanied them. Ship cats became essential members of early maritime life. Their role, rooted in thousands of years of guarding grain, now expanded to fit the complexities of ocean travel. Rodents were not merely an annoyance aboard ships. They posed serious threats. A rat could chew through rope, weakening vital rigging. A group of rodents could gnaw holes in wooden barrels holding fresh water or dried food. They could damage sails, destroy navigational charts, and spread disease in the tight quarters where sailors slept. For these reasons, captains welcomed cats aboard with genuine relief. A good ship cat could mean the difference between a safe journey and a disastrous one. And so, as ships left European ports, Lisbon, Venice, Amsterdam, and London, cats often leaped aboard, settling into their new homes with familiar confidence. Imagine the wooden deck of an early exploration vessel. The boards creak under shifting waves. Sails billow gently in the wind. Sailors secure ropes, check supplies, and prepare for weeks or even months at sea. Amid this activity, a cat moves with calm certainty, as if she has walked these planks her entire life. Her paws grip the wood. Her eyes scan the hold. She explores without fear, adjusting quickly to the constant sway of the ship. Cats on ships developed a rhythm that mirrored maritime life. They learned to balance instinctively during storms, when the deck pitched violently from side to side. They found protected places to sleep inside coils of thick rope, beneath wooden crates, or beside warm lanterns hung from beams. They hunted rodents that hid deep within the cargo hold, relying on their senses to navigate narrow spaces where sailors seldom ventured. Some sailors believed that a cat's behavior could even predict the weather. If a cat sat near the bow and stared intently at the horizon, it was said to signal approaching storms. If a cat groomed her fur with unusual vigor, sailors read it as a sign of shifting pressure or increasing winds. Though not grounded in science, these beliefs added a layer of comfort to long, unpredictable journeys. Over time, certain cats became treasured good luck companions. Sailors spoke of cats who survived fierce storms, who alerted crews to dangerous rodents, or who remained calm during frightening nights when waves rose higher than the deck rail. Stories of these resilient animals traveled as far as the ships themselves. As ships crossed the Mediterranean and ventured along the coasts of Africa, cats encountered new environments and new worlds. Some remained aboard as permanent shipmates. Others disembarked at foreign ports, settling in places where humans lived and food was plentiful. Their adaptability allowed them to blend into new societies with the same understated ease that had carried them across ancient trade routes. When European ships eventually crossed the Atlantic Ocean, cats were there, stepping into the new world long before full settlements took shape. They hunted rodents that infested supply stores. They protected seeds meant to start new farms. They helped maintain order aboard ships traveling for months through rough, unpredictable waters. Picture a ship rolling gently on the open Atlantic. Stars stretch across a dark sky. Lanterns glow softly along the deck. Sailors rest in hammocks suspended only a few inches from one another, the dim air filled with the low creak of timber. A cat walks slowly along a beam, tail lifted for balance. She pauses, listens, and slips into the shadows where the sound of scratching reveals her next hunt. In such scenes, the companionship between sailors and cats deepened. Life at sea was harsh. Cold winds, hard labor, and the constant uncertainty of weather wore heavily on the crew. The presence of a calm, warm-bodied cat brought comfort. Some sailors shared tiny portions of food with their feline partners. Others spoke to them during long night watches, finding solace in the soft blinking eyes that seemed to understand without judgment. As the age of exploration accelerated, ships reached India, China, Southeast Asia, and remote island chains across the Pacific. Cats traveled these vast distances, disembarking in ports that had never before seen animals quite like them. In many places, they were welcomed quickly, appreciated for their ability to manage rodents that thrived in densely populated markets and storehouses. On islands, cats sometimes adapted rapidly, forming new populations in environments rich with unfamiliar prey. In bustling port cities, they wandered streets, formed relationships with local households, and blended into cultures that recognized their usefulness. Each new settlement, each arriving ship, and each expanding trade route contributed to the global spread of the domestic cat. By this period, genetic lines from the earliest domesticated cats had already traveled far from their origins near the Fertile Crescent. But sea travel accelerated this dispersal dramatically. A single ship could carry cats thousands of miles across open water. A single port could distribute cats into dozens of communities within a single year. Their spread became one of the most extensive and successful animal migrations linked to human exploration. Cats also entered global stories and symbols during this time. Sailors created rhymes about them. Explorers sketched them in journals. Merchants noted their effectiveness in protecting valuable goods. In some maritime traditions, harming a ship cat was believed to bring terrible luck, while caring for one was thought to ensure safe passage home. Imagine arriving at a distant port after months at sea. The ship docks. Ropes are tied securely to wooden posts. Sailors descend the gangplank, eager to feel solid ground. And a cat, whiskers twitching at the unfamiliar scents, steps gracefully into a bustling new world full of noise, color, and possibility. Her ancestors once walked the quiet edges of desert farms. Her descendants will live in cities, on islands, in mountain towns, and in homes perched beside oceans. The world has opened, and cats have crossed it with silent confidence. Through exploration, trade, and the persistent logic of ecological opportunity, cats became one of the most widespread companion animals on Earth. Not because people commanded it, but because their presence brought balance to the environments we shaped. As the age of exploration draws toward its close, the ship, cat calm, alert, adaptable, stands at the center of a global journey that will shape the future of the species forever. In the modern world, the cat has achieved something extraordinary. She has not only crossed continents and centuries, she has crossed into the quiet spaces of human life, shaping our emotions, our routines, and even our biology. Her journey from desert hunter to beloved companion tells a story not simply of domestication, but of mutual transformation. Imagine a quiet living room in the present day. A soft lamp casts gentle light across a couch. The cat curls into a round, warm shape at one end, her body rising and falling in a slow rhythm. Her tail rests neatly along her side. Her ears swivel toward subtle sounds in the home. To many people, this simple scene feels almost timeless. It carries the same comfort a cat offered thousands of years ago beside a small hearth of reed and clay. Yet, science reveals that the bond between humans and cats has deepened in ways early farmers could not have imagined. Modern genetic research shows that while cats remain surprisingly close to their wild ancestors in body structure, they have undergone subtle behavioral changes that make them uniquely adapted to human environments. These changes are small but powerful, shaping the way cats communicate with us and the way we respond in return. One of the most fascinating findings is that cats developed a unique vocalization, often called the solicitation purr, that echoes certain sound frequencies similar to those used by human infants. When a cat combines a soft purr with a higher, slightly insistent tone, humans instinctively pay attention. This sound triggers nurturing responses deep within the human brain. It is not manipulation. It is evolution gently weaving new forms of communication between species. Cats also learned to read human cues with astonishing accuracy. Studies show that many cats respond to pointing gestures in ways similar to dogs. They notice when humans look at something. They follow our gaze. They anticipate our movements. These skills may have arisen from thousands of years of living near us, where understanding human behavior offered practical advantages. Even their facial expressions evolved in subtle ways. Though cats use their eyes, ears, and whiskers differently from dogs, they have developed expressions humans often interpret as friendliness or calmness. A slow blink, now widely recognized as a sign of trust, likely developed from ancient feline behavior meant to signal non-threat. When modern humans return that slow blink, they communicate back using a language thousands of years in the making. While cats have changed, humans have changed too. Scientists studying human-animal interaction have discovered that spending time with a calm, purring cat can lower heart rate, reduce stress, and increase the release of oxytocin, a hormone associated with bonding and emotional warmth. These physiological responses mirror the comfort early humans felt when cats protected their grain, offered quiet company, and symbolized safety within the home. Modern genetics also helps map the incredible diversity of today's domestic cats. Nearly all breeds, from the sleek Siamese to the fluffy Maine Coon, trace their origins back to a single ancestral species, the African wildcat. Despite thousands of years of dispersal, the domestic cat remains one of the least genetically modified domesticated animals. This means cats maintained much of their independence, keeping instincts that serve them well even in urban environments. Yet, modern cats live in a world that would be unrecognizable to their ancient ancestors. Cities stretch for miles. Towers of concrete and glass rise into the clouds. Homes contain soft blankets, heated rooms, and bowls of carefully balanced food. Still, cats navigate this world with ease. They leap onto windowsills to watch birds outside. They explore every corner of the home. They rest wherever sunlight gathers on the floor. In rural areas, cats continue their ancient role as hunters, protecting barns and fields from rodents. Farmers today still rely on them, just as ancient agricultural societies once did. The same qualities, patience, precision, independence, remain as valuable now as they were thousands of years ago. Modern science also reveals how cats shape ecosystems. Their presence influences rodent populations, small mammals, and local food webs. In responsible contexts, cats contribute balance to human-altered environments. Yet their predatory skills remind us that they are not fully tamed. They exist between worlds, half companion, half descendant of desert hunters who once walked the edges of early farms. The relationship between humans and cats in the modern era is shaped not just by practicality, but by deep emotional connection. Many people describe their cats as calming, grounding presences in their homes. The steady sound of a purr, vibrating gently against the chest or fading softly into the air, offers a sense of peace. This sound may slow breathing, soften thoughts, and ease the transition into sleep. There is also something profoundly comforting in the way cats choose their moments of companionship. Unlike many domesticated animals, cats often approach on their own terms. This sense of choice makes their affection feel sincere, strengthening the bond between species. A cat who curls beside a human is not obeying a command. She is offering trust. As the modern world grows faster and more complex, the presence of a quiet, observant cat offers grounding. She notices small things. She moves at a slower pace. She reminds us of ancient rhythms, sunrise stretches, calm evenings, the soft comfort of shared space. Scientific researchers studying sleep environments have also found that many people experience improved rest when sharing space with a cat. The steady weight of a sleeping cat, often curled near the feet or nestled beside a pillow, creates a sense of security. This echoes the emotional reassurance ancient families felt when a cat slept near the hearth, watching the night while the household rested. And yet, despite all this closeness, cats remain independent in a way that mirrors their entire history. They are not shaped by command. They are shaped by choice. They adapt to us not through obedience, but through coexistence. This balance, this gentle dance between independence and companionship, may be why cats have captivated humans for so long. Imagine a modern evening now. A home grows quiet as lights dim. A cat moves with silent steps through a hallway, choosing her favorite resting place. She circles once, twice, and settles into a warm spot beside the person she trusts. Her eyes close slowly. Her breathing deepens. In that moment, 10,000 years of shared history echo in the calm air. From wild hunter to companion, from ancient granaries to modern living rooms, cats have shaped us as much as we shaped them. Not through control, but through presence. Not through force, but through quiet partnership. Their journey continues still. And with every slow blink, every gentle purr, and every silent step, the bond between cats and humans deepens across time. As our journey draws to a close, imagine the soft glow of night settling gently around you. The long story of cats and humans stretches behind us like a quiet path illuminated by small fires burning across 10,000 years. From ancient deserts to river temples, from wooden ships to modern living rooms, cats have walked beside us with calm steps and steady hearts. Their journey has always been shaped by choice. They approached early humans not through force, but through curiosity and opportunity. They lingered near granaries where rodents gathered. They traveled with traders because the world moved in ways that suited their instincts. They adapted to new lands, new climates, and new cultures, always maintaining the independence that defines them. Along the way, humans changed as well. We learned to read their expressions, to understand their rhythms, and to feel comfort in their presence. We discovered that a purring cat can ease the mind, slow the breath, and steady the thoughts that drift through late-night hours. Science now confirms what humans felt intuitively for thousands of years. The quiet companionship of a cat brings peace. Tonight, we rest within that same ancient comfort. Picture a cat curled nearby, warm and still, her breathing slow and gentle. She embodies the strength of hunters who crossed continents. She carries the grace of animals worshipped in temples and welcomed in palaces. She holds the resilience of creatures who survived misunderstanding and hardship, yet continue to walk beside humanity. As you drift toward sleep, let the long arc of this shared history settle softly around you. Let the steady presence of the modern cat remind you that companionship can emerge from the simplest moments, silent steps, slow blinks, and the warm promise of rest. Close your eyes, feel your breath deepen, and allow this ancient story to fade into the quiet, like footsteps disappearing along a peaceful path. The night is calm, the world is safe, and the long journey of cats continues, one gentle heartbeat at a time.